In this section, we're going to have a look at the keywords in this essay as well, and just the problems that you really ought to have in mind, given that these are the keywords for this question. So, firstly, God. This is, well, essentially the bread and butter of this question. Who on earth is God? So you've got a picture here of the God of the Christian tradition. Obviously, you'd never have this depiction in Islam because it would be an act of supreme blasphemy to depict the deity within the Islamic tradition. So already, just in the fact that Christians feel like they can depict God and Muslims feel like that would be blasphemous. Does that lead to different understandings of who God is between the different traditions? Is God in the Christian context a more anthropomorphized concept? Is it something that's more readily understandable in that context, whereas the God in the Islamic context is a more epistemically remote concept, very so far beyond human comprehension that it would be actually blasphemous, let alone silly, to try and depict him. That's one argument you could go down. Certainly, there are nuances to the way I've just framed it, but that's perhaps a useful thing to look at. So, how are we defining God? Even in Greek myths, God would mean Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, all of that kind of thing, if not the original chaos or whatever, if you want to take a revisionist point of view. Anyway, reward. Well, here's a depiction of the standard Christian conception of reward again. So you've got Lazarus looking down from heaven. Lazarus looking down from heaven at the rich man burning in hell. So the idea of reward being something eternal in the afterlife and punishment being something eternal in the afterlife as well. And then, as we've seen in previous videos, how much of this is a reward for those who believe in him, and that we are people in this life believing with our own identities, with our own personalities. How much is that possible? If you want to have eternal life in the afterlife, are you really going to still be yourself? Because in our current state, we get extremely bored doing the same thing forever and ever, to the extent that it would actually become some sort of excruciating hell. Also, if you really want to go down the literal reading of the Christian tradition, such as William Lane Craig or scholars such as he, then there's the difficulty of the fact that in heaven you'll be looking down at people in hell, potentially your friends and family. Are you really still yourself if you're able to look at your friends and family burning in hell and not feel as though that is hell in and of itself? So there's all these questions wrapped up in reward, and that's before you even get to the idea that reward could be in this life. Is the reward for believing in God actually just happiness? Is it a sociological thing, a psychological thing? This could be an interesting route to go down, especially for those of you who don't believe in God or some sort of deity. Is there a reward in this life in that you're given a community, in that you have higher levels of dopamine and oxytocin, the hormones relevant to happiness, when you practice your religion? Is the reward that it provides a structure for your family, etc., etc.?